Hello. All right, let's see. Is this thing on? I think it's on. Hi, everybody. Can you hear me okay? Type a quick little, hey, let me know where you're watching from. There's a chat box somewhere on this page if you're watching from your computer, so we can chat. I'll be asking questions later. This is where you can post your website later when I review your websites. We'll get started in like 30 seconds. But let me just know if you can hear me okay. Hey, Ryan, watching from a Marriott. I just stayed at Marriott for the first time a couple weeks ago, and I really enjoyed it. You can hear us, Palm Coast. Jealous. It's fine, whatever. All right. It just turned to 2 o'clock Eastern time, according to Apple. And we're going to get going here. This is going to be, my intention is that this hour is going to be super valuable for you. And I'm really excited that you're here. So thank you. If you can't hear me or the internet cuts out or anything weird, just type a note. I've got that. I'm watching that. So if I look up, that's what I'm looking at. So this is interactive. This is live. So I'm excited to be here. And I am also furious with myself because I have two email lists. We're going to talk about email lists a little bit today because I've been geeking out on email lists and how to really make them really good tools for musicians. But I have 2 lists, one for my fans because I have my own music, and then one for musicians who are interested in the methods I've been figuring out over the years to create a full-time music career. So what did I do today? I emailed everybody by accident because I just switched email tools and forgot to separate the 2 lists. So I might have some fans here just checking it out. The good thing is that the work that I do, it's not specific totally to the music industry. It's really about being a human being. And when you make mistakes like that, you sort of just get real present to how I am being a human being. So that's something that people in the music industry don't talk about a lot, right? Like you go to, who here are my conference goers? Like you go to ASCAP or South by Southwest or Millennium Music Conference or the CD Baby Conference. Type in 1 if you're a music conference person. If you go to music conferences, you'll notice that there are a lot of panels on Spotify, how to increase your Spotify playlists, how to increase the number of people on your team, how to get more licenses. There's a lot of like how-to stuff and a lot of inspirational, this is how the back end of that stuff works. But there's not a lot about the one thing that really, really matters, which is how we are being and how we are working at our music careers. So no one's talking about us. So I came up with this analogy. It's like, all of us musicians we've got our own freight train or steam locomotive, and we're in the engine room and we are shoveling coal into the engine with one hand. And sometimes we get people to help, we get a label or we get a booking agent. So we've got a couple people shoveling coal. We go to all these panels, we read all these books. Here's how to shovel coal faster. Here's how to shovel 2 pieces of coal at once. Here's all these different ways about shoveling coal when our other hand is firmly pressing down the brake. So no one's talking about this arm. Everyone's talking about the coal arm. So that's the work that I do. And so if you are here because you accidentally got my email that I sent to my fans, I would love to know what kind of career you have, and hopefully some of this stuff will apply to you. And if you are a musician, I am really psyched that you're here. This was designed for you, so this is perfect. And you guys are typing so many things, and I love it. So you don't need to have your webcam on. So you'll see me, I'll see your typing. And then when I review anyone who wants to have their website reviewed live at the end of this, you'll type in your website and I'll share my screen so we can look at everyone's websites together, and we'll start to connect the dots between where you are now, what you really want, is that being communicated on your website? Because that's the work that I do, is really communicating what it is you want, getting clear on that stuff. So we're going to get into that in a second. So let me see. Millennium and South by. Millennium is on my birthday this year, and my husband made plans. So I'm not going to Millennium the first time in like 9 years. South by, I'm moderating a panel on email marketing. Yay, female moderators at South by. Yeah, Ryan, I used to go as an artist also. And then I got asked to speak on a panel, and it was really hard to go as a band and go as a speaker. I felt like I needed to be like professional, but then also pitching. And it was like weird to wear 2 hats. I had 2 sets of clothes. It was weird. So I decided to only go with 1 hat on. But it's a very fun. So, all right. if you are at, oh yeah, CD Baby, Durango. I haven't been to Durango. I really want to. So Paul, if you're on an office computer without video and audio, there's probably no way you're going to be able to hear this. So that's cool. All right, so let's get going. So this is technically called the 5 Keys to Magical Money-Making Music Career Success. The money-making thing is not, it's not meant to be a gimmick. It's not meant to be a marketing thing. It's really when you take your hand off the brake, you start to see results. And if the results you want to see have to do with money, then that's what you're going to see. That's just how that works. It's kind of magical. Oh, you don't have a microphone. I got it. You don't need a microphone. Great, great, great. So let me see where you guys are from this poll I did. Great. A lot of you are either part-time musicians with a lot of stuff under your belt or full-time musicians looking to step it up, which is awesome. That's perfect. Okay, so here we go. We're going to talk about a bunch of different things today. We're going to talk about 5 different areas of your life where you are, where you can be making a difference in a very small way. So we're always busy musicians, especially if you are part-time working and trying to transition to a full-time career or juggling both. Like, I get that. That is super tricky to do, but you want to be working more effectively and less busy. I mean, I could count the number of days where I would spend 8 hours putting up tour posters around towns. And you know how many people came to a show because I put up a poster? 1. I've done between 350 and 400 shows. And every time I did a show, I would ask people how they heard of me, where did they come from? 1 person said a poster. You know how much time I wasted putting up posters, but I was so busy. I was doing all this DIY indie work because I was so busy. It was just because I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what I wanted. So I was like, this is a thing people do. I guess I should do that. Type in number 2 if you're like, if you're a should doer. So you take actions because you think you should, not because they actually inspire you or you know that they're going to get you a specific result that you want. So if you're that band did that, I guess I should do that. Give me number 2. I was that for years. I basically let what I saw other artists do drive my career, which meant that it wasn't my career. It was not my intentional career. I wasn't behind anything. I wasn't being intentional with what I wanted. I wasn't being intentional with how I was communicating what I wanted, which you can't do if you don't know what you want. See? So anyway, I got really tired of cold calling and pitching with no response. You guys probably know by now I'm like huge into the pitching thing, pitching powerfully. I have been called the pitch bitch, which I don't mind most of the time. We're going to talk about that today, which is cool. You are going to get the slides that I'm working off of in all of my notes. So don't feel like you have to write down stuff frantically. I tend to talk quickly, and I know that. You'll have moments when I take a drink of my water or my ginger ale in this cute little bottle. Isn't it cute? It's not a beer. I don't drink beer. Gross. I'm a wine girl, just so you know. If you see me at a conference, there you go. All right. Musicians, we also always think that we'll be at the next level if we get more of something. It's always a more conversation, more clarity on our goals, more time. If I had more money, if I had more fans, right? There's a more conversation that's sort of this black cloud that looms over us. And again, that makes it not powerful for us. It's not our career. Then if we are saying that, oh, we'll have the perfect career when we get more of this thing, then it's dependent on the more of that thing. So that's not inspiring. So we want to get rid of all these uninspiring, disempowering conversations. So today we're going to talk about where you are now, what you've got going on, just the reality of it, the what so, not the this doesn't feel that I don't like this. We're going to take out all the judgments and the feelings and all that stuff and just get to like, what are the projects that we're doing? Where's the income coming from? If that's something that's important to you, what are the results that you're seeing right now? Then we're going to talk about where you want to be. What's the same? What's different? And I will share with you a secret that most musicians and even some of the biggest musicians that I know personally want to be somewhere else. So it's not something that you attain and then poof, done. It's a constant question of what else? Now what? Okay, great. Now what? Okay, great. Now what? So it's perfect that you're here. And this conversation is one that you can take with you every time you get that next result. Okay, great. Now what? Okay, great. Now what? So some of that stuff will be the same as where you are now. And other things you're going to want to shift and change and start to see different results. So we're going to talk about 5 different areas in your music career and in your life that can help close that gap, the gap between where you are now and where you want to be. I'm talking with my hands a lot, so that's cute. And we're going to create a plan, and you're going to get a very clear summary of an action plan. So there's going to be a couple things you can do in each of these 5 areas, and then I'll give you my recommendation of the one thing you can do today in each 5 area. Really easy task. This is not going to be like putting up posters around Denver in the middle of January or whatever, February. It's not going to be that bad. And then we're going to have an opportunity to dig in and master each of these areas. And then I'm going to review your websites live. And this is super valuable stuff. And I've done this about, I started doing this last January. So this will be my 13th time doing this sort of presentation and live feedback session. And it's really, really valuable. And I hope you can stick around to the end, because that's when I'm going to do it. Great. Let's see. You feel me, Alex? Hey. You're intentional. You just need to see results. Cool. That's a thing, right? You're really clear on what you want, and you're just not seeing results. That's your hand on the brake. There's something that causes that hand on the brake, and it's a variety of things. Usually some sort of fear, like there's a perfectionism or procrastination or something that's like keeping you from taking actions, or there's a lack of knowledge on how to pitch, which we're actually just going to do today. We're going to get the world of flipping pitching on its head. Flipping pitching. Which is great. Don't post your websites now, because I'm not going to look at them until the end. And I don't want to have to scroll through all the things. So I will ask for them later on, but thank you. So good to know. And then Debbie, you said, how do I get started performing if the area doesn't know who I am? I'm also working with a professional drummer who really needs gigs to pay for bills. Great. That's a really specific question I'm not going to answer now, but there is a way to do that. So if I have time at the end, I'll come back to that. So type it up again. All right. So let's get going. So I want to start off with a couple facts, because I love these facts. I think they're really empowering for DIY musicians. DIY is do it yourself, not do it alone. I've been saying that for years. Just make sure that you are distinguishing alone versus doing it yourself. We can talk about it in a second. So here's a fun fact. 51% of Americans went to live music concerts 2 years ago. So that number has been growing steadily since 2011. These are according to PwC, by the way. Last year, the average American listened to 728 minutes of streaming radio. And in 2012, it was only 586 minutes. So people are consuming music, even though we are like, streaming, I only get like 0.00000 cents. It doesn't matter, because what this fact is saying is that there's a market for our music. And last fact that I love, the global music revenue in 2016 was $15 billion. And guess how much of that was guess how much was indie music? You'd think like, the record labels probably got most of that. In the US market, it was 34%. 34% of the billions of dollars was for the independent music community. So this is very exciting, because it's saying that there is a market, right? So there's a couple things that we do that get in the way. So this is perfect for people, James, you said you're intentional, but not seeing results. Great. So here's some mistakes we make. So I want to know who's here. Tell me, put a number 1. If you are waiting for someone to find you, you go to shows and you think, okay, hopefully there will be a record label or a promoter or some PR person or some famous person or someone in the audience who's going to do something for me. That's going to be great. That would be great, right? But that's like the heart and soul of what you're doing, is waiting for someone. I can say all these because I did all of these, just so you know. So give me my number 1. You're kind of waiting for someone to find you, waiting for the career to happen. Cool. Number 2, mistake that we make, not knowing what we really want, right? This goes back to the intentional conversation. If you don't know what you want, you can't create it. Super simple. These are my number 2s. By the way, you can be several of these. I have at one point been all 5. There's 5. Number 3, misusing your time. So this can mean anything from you spend too much time like putting up posters, or doing things that are not really making a difference, but you don't know what to do. So nothing's really happening. So if you are not seeing results, then you are not using your time right. And if you feel overwhelmed and busy all the time and you're not seeing results, you're definitely not using your time right. My number 4 is not knowing where to start, so you don't do anything. Give me my number. Who are my number 4s? Like, oh my God, there's so much to do. There's so many possibilities. And like, there are so many courses and marketing things out there for musicians right now that are like super inspiring and you can see what's possible. Like there's all these results you could be getting. And then it's like, and here's the 400 different ways to go about doing it. And you're just like, I'm going to go watch Netflix. That was me for a very, very long time. Your sign, your label CEO lost his investments. He failed to get Brent billing to regrouping, signing a new professional manager in a week. Yeah, so now it's time for you to take the reins and make this thing happen, or just let everyone else, corporate people, figure their stuff out. You know, that's cool. So my not knowing where to start people, where are you? So my dad had all these great little sayings, and one of my favorite sayings of his, he's like, I would be like, Dad, I just don't know where to start. And he'd be like, start in the middle. Then you're that much closer to the end, which I always loved. All right, so those are my number 4s. So number 5, last one, big mistake that we make, targeting the wrong fans, or a variation of that, trying to please everyone, right? Thinking, well, I always did pop, so if I add a banjo to this track, people are going to think I'm country. My fans may not like it, or just not knowing who your target fan is. You're like, well, I think it's people from 25 to age 65 that live anywhere in the universe. That's my target market. No, it's not. That's not anybody's target market. That's not even Coca-Cola's target market. So we're going to talk about that today and why that's really important to get that clear. Cool. Targeting no one. Yeah. Targeting no one is you'll get the sales of no one. It's great. Don't do that. Okay. So the 5 keys we're going to talk about today. Here's the stuff. Here's the heart of it. Ryan, number 3, having a hard time to fully relate to any of the options. Okay, well, you're here, so that's all that matters. If you can't identify why you're not seeing exactly the results and have the exact career that you want right this minute, that's okay. We'll get to that. So here are the 5 keys we're going to talk about. Branding, pitching, engagement with your fans, income, and structures for success. So that's going to be my magic ball crystal mysterious one until we get to it. So first one we're going to talk about is the branding. But first, some of you may not know me and you're like, who's this chick talking to me? So just very quickly, I am in New York. I used to live in Harlem for 12 years. I was barely paying my rent. I had all sorts of odd jobs. I was touring. I was making records. And it was not, the money I was bringing in was not equaling the money I was spending. So I didn't have a lot of time or energy to focus on anything. So my point is I get that the struggle is real. I was one of the huge, I thought I needed someone to be a success. Like that was it. So I'm here because I get it. I'm a singer-songwriter. Like I said, I have records out. I have 4 records. My last one came out in 2016. I've had over 40 TV commercial placements. I've toured all over the United States and Europe. Fan funded my records. The last 2 of them over $20,000 each. I'm also a composer, and I'm actually doing more of that work right now. So film composer and commercials and collegehumor.com. And, I've done some Honey Nut Cheerios commercials and all sorts of stuff like that. And then I started getting asked to speak on music panels and, conferences and things like that. And I realized I was getting a lot of the same questions from musicians on how to make it as a full-time, independent, not signed musician. And instead of answering the questions like I saw a lot of other musicians doing, like, well, this is what worked for me. There's a bajillion ways for you to make this career work. So what I did may work for me, but it may totally not inspire you, may not be something that you're interested in. So I went up and got almost 800 hours of career coaching training so that I could be really effective at listening to what's stopping you, so that my answers to your questions could be based in the reality of what's going on in the music industry, which I keep my thumb on the pulse of because I'm in it. But also I'm good at listening to what is stopping you. And I relate to you as someone who is already successful. And there's not a lot of people in our lives that relate to us as successful. So I have a really interesting context and a really interesting listening of you. And I'm trained to do that. So that makes me unique. Last but not least, I'm going to just quickly show you, I write music for jingles. That's how I got my start, was in the advertising industry, which is why I'm also a branding dork. But you'll get the whole world of me in this 30-second jingle that I actually wrote for myself. A friend of mine was like, you write jingles? Do you have one for yourself? I was like, oh, that's brilliant. So 30 seconds, and then we'll be back and we'll get into these 5 key areas for your music career.
Hi, I'm Cheryl of CBE Music LLC. I write music like this for ads, films, and TV. Sometimes I'm asked to make it funny or dark and epic or simple and sunny. I also write songs and sing them too on stages big and small for fans old and new. You can find me sharing about this in books and blogs and conferences you won't want to miss. That's what's up in my CBE jingle. I'll write one for you that'll make your ears tingle.
Cute, right? All right. That's me in a nutshell, in a cartoon, technically. So now's the time to talk about you. So you can write this down, you can type a note, but this is something we're going to look back to. So I want you to consciously think of the words and what it looks like. So the question is, where are you now? And I don't mean literally, where are you? What is the snapshot of your music career? What projects do you have going on? Do you make any money from them? What does the day-to-day look like? Who are you doing them with? Et cetera, et cetera. So take a second and just jot down a few words that come to mind. The what so in reality of your music career. You're welcome to share on the chat box too, whatever you want. Okay. Next question. This is what I call the magic wand question. If I were to hit you on the side of the head with my magic wand, what would the perfect music career look like? What is different from now? What is the same? What are you doing daily? With whom? And what does this look like without worrying about how to do it or money? So if you take out money and the strategy, what does it look like in the future? Perfect music career. This is a hard question for a lot of musicians to answer because we don't think long-term perfect world. We think, what can we do tomorrow to make ends meet, or to just get one more fan, or to just book that one gig? We think very short term, even though we might have these lofty long-term goals. We're not really thinking of them as a reality. So that's what we want to do. We want to actually say, what does this career look like? What am I really doing full time? And when I finally did this work, I realized that I didn't love touring anymore the way I did the first 5 years I was on the road. And I really started looking at, I loved collaborating. I loved partnership. I loved writing the music and the actual process of writing. And that looks like a bunch of different things. Sometimes that's scoring a film and that partnership. Right now I'm doing a lot of choral work. I'm working with a couple choral groups and creating a cappella music, which is something I've always loved, but never thought it was something I could get paid for. So there are a lot of different ways that could look, as long as I know that I'm fully self-expressed and I am in partnership and I'm being creative and I'm in that with someone else and they're getting to feel all those things too. So now I know what it looks like for me is that I'm creating music with people and there's partnership present. And yes, I have very specific goals. We'll talk about specific goals in a second. So let me take a hot second because you guys are so great. Composing songs for prior clients, preparing to compose. Yeah. Building catalogs, great. Teaching. Yeah. Teaching is a great thing. When we talk about our income, like a lot of times musicians' income is like this. We get, we get a license and then we get income and then like months where it's down here and then we get a really good paying gig and then it's down here and then we have some CD sales that lower the bottom line. Teaching is a great way to up that bottom line. So this becomes a little more like this and less woo-wee. So I teach 1 day a week. I have since I was 22, which is a long time ago. And Thursdays, I just have 6 to 10 students. I have a waiting list of 5 students and I only teach on Thursdays and I'm super expensive and I only work with people who practice. And it's a great way to keep a very flexible, but good baseline. So teaching is great. Goals are placements, first album remastered, new album recorded, collaborations complete, performing with the band more, opening. Great. So what I want you guys to do with these are great. These are really clear. What we want to do is be specific. With specificity comes even more clarity in your communication, and you can put it out there in the universe and you can actually start to see what works and what doesn't work because you have something to measure up against. So what that means is performing with my band more, Alex, if I'm going to use you as an example here, how many gigs a month or how many gigs a quarter or how many gigs a week or, and what kinds of gigs. So usually when you want to create a really specific intentional result, you're going to have a by when, and there's probably a number attached to it. So this many gigs by this. If you want to have your record your new album recorded, why? So that you can sell it, so that you can get gigs with it, so you can license it, because that is actually the goal behind the goal, which I talk about in my e-course. And you want to figure out, okay, once you finish the record, then what? So if you're creating a record so that you can sell 1,000 copies by October 30th, or like, then there starts to be really clear actions to take when you get specific. Just say that. So great. So you guys, you got a picture of where you are now, where you want to be. Why are you not here? Why are you not where you want to be right now? What's the gap? Because that's what we're going to talk about. What's the gap for you? What is missing? So write that down. What do you think is missing? Or you can type it in the comments. Thanks for sharing, you guys. I'm reading all of these. All right, so what's the gap? So let's start talking about this. So the very, very first gap, that's not even one of these 5 keys, is getting clear on what you want. And you guys are doing that. I can tell that you're doing that in the comments, which is awesome. So now get specific, right? So great, Ryan, what's missing? More leads. So what's actually missing, this is great. So you can take what's missing and turn it into one of these 5 keys. I guarantee you that whatever you think is missing is actually one of these things. So if you need more leads, what is missing is a pitching strategy. So we're going to talk about that. Time, being intentional with your time. Absolutely. That's a structure for success. We're going to talk about time management and calendars and stuff. A long list of new clients. Don't we all want a long list of new clients? Yeah, absolutely. So that's going to be engagement and pitching, right? Getting gigs organized, album done, following that. Yeah, great. All right. So first we're going to talk about brand. I was going to share my screen with you, but I'm kind of not into it right now. What do you think? You don't need to see this stuff. You're going to get this whole little like cute little PDF afterwards. So let's just talk about branding. And if anyone's a visual learner and really wants to see this, just say, share your screen and I can show you my slides. They're really pretty. I might show them later, but so let's talk about brand consistency. Your branding works for you in 2 ways. One, and this is great because it connects exactly to what we were just talking about, is it helps attract the right fans. And 2, it tells those fans what to do. You can't tell your fans or potential clients. So for those composers out there, when I say fans, just think of the people that are going to hire you, clients. So clients are fans, but I say the word fans a lot. So if your branding is telling your fans what to do, you need to know what to do. You need to know what to tell them to do. My favorite example of this is my friend Jamie Kent. He's a country artist, and he was on tour 6 months before he released his record. And he said to every audience he was in front of, hey guys, do you want to help me be the first independent artist on a country Billboard chart? And everyone's like, hell yeah, that'd be cool. Like overthrow the big guy, David and Goliath story. And he's like, okay, here's what you need to do in order to make this happen. And let's play this game together. And all you need to do, by the way, is pre-sell your record, because the day your record drops, the release date on iTunes counts all the pre-sales for the sales of that one day, which is how they determine the charts. So guess who made it on the top 20 of the Billboard and country artists the first day, the first week of his record release? Jamie Kent, because he was super clear on what he wanted. He created a way to ask his fans to join him and to collaborate with him. And they were really clear on what they needed to do. They had to go pre-order the record. And here's the link. So that's really cool. That's a branding technique right there, right? This was consistent across all of his social media platforms. It was in his graphics. So this is what branding includes, right? The graphics are the obvious stuff, right? The colors and the fonts on your website. You want to have only 2 main colors, 2 main fonts. Too much stuff, then it looks really amateur and looks like it's really dated. And it says something when your website and your social media is aligned, like the same colors are sort of everywhere and the same photos. People start to get that you have a personality, you have a message, and they can sort of feel familiar anytime they go to different places on the web, including your live shows. If they go to a live show, the experience of being around you is going to feel familiar. And familiarity, this is from the marketing world now, familiarity breeds customer loyalty in true terms, right? And that's what we're doing. We're building loyalty and familiarity and ultimately relationships. So Oh, I just went backwards on my slides, you guys. Hold on. I got all mixed up. I know what's next because I've done this like a bajillion times, but okay. So branding includes all the graphics and the visual stuff, right? It also includes your story and how you talk about yourself. And by the way, I could get into this for ages. It's not just, I picked up a guitar when I was 14 and then I was in this band and then I was in this band and then I was in this band. Like no one wants to hear that. An interesting story is your transitions. You were living here and then you decided for some reason to move to here. You were in this relationship and you decided to leave it to go to this person. You like whatever the decision was, that's the interesting story. So figure out where those were and you're going to start to see a thread. So for me, my first job out of college, because I was a biology major and a music major, but I thought music was just a hobby. I was scuba diving for the government doing water quality research. And I thought that was really boring. And so after 6 months, I got invited by a friend of a friend who knew I wrote music on the side to write music for this hotel's website in Rome, Italy. And they invited me to go to Rome for a month. I was so bored that I was like, yeah, that sounds great. So that happened. So apparently scuba diving for the government is not actually a boring story. People thought that was cool. And I didn't realize that until I hired a PR company to help me figure out what my story was. And that was the first thing they asked me was like, well, where were the transitions? I was like, oh, I was bored of this and this. That's not interesting. So talk to people because you never know what's interesting to other people that you may not think is interesting, which is kind of cool, right? So let's see. Oh, you like slides. Okay, so maybe I'll switch my slides in the next key. All right. The other thing that is part of your branding is how you organize your website. We're going to talk about this. So if you have your about page and then your tour page and then but really all you want people to do is go to your new music video. Videos shouldn't be the last thing in your menu. How that's organized is all saying something. You're communicating something. So the thing is you want to communicate your brand, what you're committed to, who you are, the colors, the lightness, the feel, all that stuff. You want to communicate that through your website and through social media so that you don't have to say that stuff. People just get it. And then you have tons more space and room to talk about the stuff that you really do need to talk about, like whatever issues are important to you, what your lyrics are about, what your next tour is going to be about, that sort of stuff. So how you talk about yourself and your music is clearly part of your brand. So the branding really reflects what you want most for your career. It's not just supposed to be colors and fonts. It's supposed to reflect your purpose. Like, what are you up to in the world? That should be clear on your branding. And who are you? Like, what are you all about? That is the branding. So some actions that you can do today, here's a bunch of them, and I'll give you my suggestions later when we sort of narrow this down, is fine tune your website colors and the organization of your webpage. By the way, if you don't have access to your website, type in a number 1 if you're one of my people who does not have access, meaning like someone else designed it for you and then they like moved to Tahiti and you can't get a hold of them, or you designed it a long time ago and it really intimidates you to update it, or you don't know HTML or whatever. If you don't have access to your website or you just want to start over, I am a very big fan of Bandzoogle. My website is Bandzoogle. They make website templates that are ready to go, branded for you, and they connect to all the music places that you need to connect to. And they're one of the least expensive out there, but they do it for musicians. Their tagline is, so easy a drummer could do it. Haha. Sorry, drummers. So they really like me. Bandzoogle likes me, and they like the work that I do with musicians. So they gave me a link to give to you guys. So if you want to check it out, you can try it for a month free. So I'm just going to put this off, or you should be able to see this little thing. And then you get 15% off if you do decide to go with them. So I would play around with it. And it's just a really good way to start fresh if you need to start fresh. Yeah, I've got some ones here. Totally. Andy, don't even worry about it. You can just click on that and get a month free. So can you guys see that? Ryan, no offense, it's not my tagline. So there you go. You should see the Bandzoogle little offer thing just popped up there. Let me know if you didn't. And I can type it in later. Yeah, Bandzoogle is amazeballs. I agree with you, Alex. Okay, cool. So what you can do today is either sign up for Bandzoogle or go to your website platform and tweak the colors in the organization and make sure there's only 2 colors and 2 fonts and everything's like nice size. And is it in line with what your Facebook header looks like and your Twitter header? I'm a big fan of Canva. They make, I'm going to type this in for you. Don't worry, canva.com. I'm really good with Photoshop, but I now only use Canva because Canva is so great at taking exactly the dimensions you need. So you can just say, I need to make a new Facebook header, and they will boom, turn it into Facebook header. It's not going to stretch it. It's going to fit. And their designs are really, really great. Looks super pro. So you can do that. Check your social media headers for brand consistency, that they call back to your website. Go to all your social media, anywhere where you have the little about thing, make sure that it links to your website. So the website should be the hub. You don't want people to go to the website and then leave it. We'll talk about that when I review your website. And then the last thing is to check, does your homepage on your website tell visitors the number one thing you want them to do? That's what you can do today. Cool? Okay, cool. Next, I will share my screen because, yeah, 3 cheers for Canva. I'm going to share my screen now so that you guys can, you know, get a break from my face. Let's see. Great. Pitching. All right. You guys can see that okay? So pitching is not about getting what you want. This is for my people who are not seeing results and are not getting the client lists and everything. Okay? This is about creating an opportunity for someone else so that you become irresistible to them. So this is not about what you want, ironically, right? It is ironic. So this is a little worksheet that I created. You're going to get this. It's called Prime Your Pitch. Some of you, if you're on my mailing list, this was a free thing that you can get. If you've read my blog, you know, this is something that I offer for free. So we're just going to go through this really quickly. It always helps to hear it again. So if you've heard this already, just stand by. So we're going to spell out pitch. So the first part is preparation. So do your research, find out what they need, make sure to have the right contact info, do your homework because it will show. So if you're pitching to a music supervisor, then you are going to want to know what kind of music do they use on that show? What, you know, what kind of hours are they working on? Like, are they in the middle of a season? Is it crazy? Are they in their downtime? You need to know all this stuff, right? If you're booking a show, you need to know what dates are available, what dates are booked. So you don't want to ask for a date that's already booked. It will just easily show that you did not go to their website, which is so simple, right? 2, intention. You guys know I love this word today, right? Intention is knowing what you want to happen before the conversation even happens. If you have clarity, so will they. So you're not going to go, if you see a job listing, you're not going to say, hey, will you hire me? You're going to say, hi, I would love to schedule an interview, right? So know what, not necessarily the end goal is for this interaction, but what do you want this particular interaction to turn into? Is it a coffee date? Are you trying to take them out to lunch? Is it a conversation? Do you want them to listen to something and get back to you? So you want to know what you want to have happen. Then we're going to turn the tables on them. So now we're going to write this email or call them, right? What is their problem? What is their problem that you can solve? And it doesn't need to be like a traumatic problem. Maybe it just means that they're looking for some music and they want to go home at the end of the day, right? Or maybe it's a band, a booker for bands that doesn't have a Wednesday slot filled yet. So how are you an opportunity for them? At some point towards the end of this email, first of all, you're not name dropping and saying all the things about yourself. And I get into the actual steps and how to word this stuff in my course. I have this little course called The Perfect Pitch that this is all based on. And that gets into it much deeper. For the sake of time, I don't want to dive into it right now, but it's super valuable. I can tell you about that later. But you want to call them to action. So you want to ask a yes or no question so that they are clear on what's next. If you do not ask a yes or no question and say, hey, check out my track, they're going to be like, why? Like, that is not the way to say it. It is more like the specific thing again, you guys. That's my other word of the day, specific and intention. Getting specific. Like, would you be able to listen to this before 3 o'clock on Friday and let me know when we can talk next? Something like that. You want to get specific. Can you book me for this date at this time? Because they can then say yes, no, or counter offer. No, I can't do that date, but I could do this date. Cool. Lastly, put your John Hancock on there. So in your signature is where you put the link. 1 or 2 links. Don't give them all your social media. They don't care. And also, we don't want to help. We don't need to send them to Facebook and all these other distracting sites. You want them to get your brand. So you want them to go to somewhere on your website so that they can see what they need to see. Maybe it's a booking page specific for, venue bookers where there's a live video of you guys and some information in your backline and, anything that they might need. Cool? Cool. All right. So what are some results you can get from powerfully pitching? Well, I used the perfect pitch, the 8 steps, when I was fan funding my record, and I got $12,558, and then I got a $10,000 check, so I raised $22,558, and I didn't send one email that wasn't using this pitch. Like, it just works, I'm telling you. And here's a tweet from one of my past MX4 students. MX4 is a 6-week course that I offer, and I do the perfect pitch in that course. And Zach said in September that he was working on landing a gig and used the pitching method. Within minutes, he got a response. That's how this works. I tested it. I can tell you my method of how I tested it with 100 different venues when I was touring a lot. And I did an A/B test with different ways to write emails. Anyway, I dorked out on it, and I did this whole, it's like, I was a science major. So I did all what's the control, all that stuff. And this is what I figured out. So this works. So what you can do today is follow this prime your pitch. Basically, take the perfect pitch course or MX4. I'll tell you more of that. That's my shameless promotion. But really what I want you to start doing is any email where you want something from someone and you're just making a request, ask it in a yes or no question. If you do that one simple shift in how you ask for things, if you ask it in a yes or no format, you're going to start to get way more yeses and you're going to get more responses. So if you are, I used to be Miss Crickets. Like it wasn't that I was getting no's, it was that I wasn't getting any responses. And it all came down to how I was asking for what I wanted. Brian, I do have sanitized versions of 6 or 8 of my winning emails. I created some templates, and those are available in the Perfect Pitch course or MX4. And I'll tell you about those at the end quickly before we get into the websites. And so you can actually take my emails that I actually sent and got yeses from, and just fill in your own data and make it your own voice and, all that jazz. And then you can start to see how that works. So yes is the answer, but I like that sanitized version. I put hand sanitizer on my computer before I type them up. Great. Okay, so we're going to talk about fan engagement. So fan engagement is so closely tied to pitching because you really just want to be specific and you want to be asking questions. So you want to come to fan engagement with curiosity. So engagement is interaction, it's relationship building, and it's a two-way street. When you come to any relationship, whether it's with a fan or with a spouse or with a friend, with curiosity, you're going to have them open up. You're going to cause connection. It's going to be the best conversations you have when you're coming from curiosity versus coming from, I know better, or I know how to do this, or I want to get this right, or you're not listening anyway. We have these little voices inside our head that are like predetermining who we are. And they're sort of our default way of being if we don't catch them. So curiosity is a really good thing to take on because it makes you question and come from a place of not knowing and just creating it real time with that person. And that's sort of how we want to look at our fans, right? So what engagement is not being a billboard. So like I said in the pitching conversation, it is not, hey, check this out. That is a billboard, you guys. Like, how many times do you see your musician friends saying, like, check out my new video or check this out, check this out. And I use the words check it out. It's just very easy. But when you think about it, like, check this out, you don't get any data. You're not asking them to do anything. And check it out is technically a command. So you might as well say, come to my house and vacuum for me. Right? How are people going to react to that? No, thanks anyway. That is how that lands. Obviously, it's in a much nicer way. So we don't want to be a billboard. We actually want to ask questions, but we don't want to be always asking for stuff. Sometimes people think that the only reason they should get on social media or send an email to their mailing list is because they have something to ask for. But that's going to really dilute the relationship with your fans, especially over email. So I have a whole blog post, and I'm doing a new course on email engagement, and I've been really testing that also. It's really, really interesting that you can tell your story to people and they will start to open up and to become a fan of who you are, not just your music. And in this day and age, generally people will find you before they find your music, right? So if you're really real, authentic with who you are and building these relationships and not just asking for stuff or promoting something, then engagement's going to go up. It's going to be great. Okay, cool. Blue. Everything's blue. So the wrong way is, hey, watch my new video or help me make a record. Commands. We don't like commands. The right way is, would you play a game of getting 500 likes on this video? Or what's the biggest mystery to you around making a record? You might get very clear answers on what if you're going to do like a Kickstarter or something, what the rewards should be. People would say, oh, I would love to know what it's like to be inside a vocal booth, or, I mean, who knows, right? But you don't know until you ask. Okay? So results. This is where you get your super fans, the fans that want to be a part of your career. Caitlin, I love Caitlin's story. So Caitlin wanted a tour. She was in my MX4 course, and she was in a November MX4, and she created in 2 months by engaging with her. She had a small fan base, like a couple hundred people, maybe 100 to 200 people on her mailing list. And she ended up booking this tour, not only booking this impressive tour, but she got a place to stay every single night for free with these fans, for her and her band, because she was using the perfect pitch and she was engaging with them, and she wasn't being salesy about it. She was just being really authentic, and she was being a human being and brought people into the process. And she was calling it the family tree tour, right? Isn't that great branding? It's like, come be part of my family. Of course, if we're family, then of course I'm staying on your couch, right? It was just a beautiful way to really get her branding super clear. It was aligned with her music, it was aligned with the website, and it was aligned with what she was actually asking for. So it's really great. I love that. Love that. Love. Okay, cool. So what you can do today, you can go to social media and post about someone else. So you can become the source of cool content, right? If you post someone else's blog or an article or something, by the way, if you need content, I have a musician blog. It's called Living on Gigging. I'll type it in there. You can always pull stuff from there. Livingongigging.com. You can, we're going to see a lot of websites in about 15 minutes from other people. If there are any that you really like, copy and paste them and schedule that post. I use a schedule called buffer.com, www.buffer. And you can, if you don't want to post 10 things at once, but you thought of 10 things, you can actually just put them in and schedule one a day. So then you are generating cool content, but you don't have to be thinking about it every minute of every day. That was an insider tip. That's not on my PowerPoint. Why does it go blue? Stop going blue. All right. Oh, I didn't spell living on gigging right, you guys. Sorry. www.livingongigging.com. All right, back to this. So today you can stop being a billboard, just stop it. Or you can also ask your followers a question or to play a game, right? Where there's a specific measurable result that you can get. Okay, cool. We're going to talk about income. This is something I do a whole Hail Mary of money during MX4, and it's very powerful. We're going to just brush the surface because it's a huge topic, but the gist of generating and making income is first taking the temperature of your money mindset. So I love this. The biggest difference between people who are comfortable with money and those who are not is the willingness and ability to manage their money. So read that again. The biggest difference between people who are comfortable with money and those who are not is the willingness and ability to manage their money. What does that mean? That means money has to be a habit. That's what that means. So it's not something that they avoid or they're terrified of, or I don't even want to know what's in my bank account. They know what is in reality and what there is to create. Because when you're intentional about what there is to create, then you can say, okay, I need to make $500 extra a month for this to feel comfortable. Okay, what are we going to do to generate $500? Then there's some actions to take, and it's a different conversation than if you're trying to generate $3,000 a month, right? So you need to know what to start, and to do that is making money a habit. So you're looking at it every day, every other day. It's not just something that you have to do at when it's tax time, right? Okay, cool. So here are the things that I think are really important to know. And if you don't know any of these, I would take your last 6 months of receipts and start adding it up. And I would do that as soon as possible. So know how much money you have. Great. Know how much money you spend. This one's a little harder to figure out. And I like to work monthly. You can work weekly if you want, but it's generally easier to look monthly, especially if you have a credit card or something, you can get those statements. Know how much money you make or how much money do you generate. And if you have a part-time job, how much is it from music? How much is it from non-music stuff? And now, how much money do you need? So this is not want, this is need. Need meaning so that you can stay a responsible citizen of wherever you live, right? So you're paying your bills, electricity, health insurance, whatever it is that you need to pay to, food, all of that stuff. So how much money do you need per month? And then how much money do you want? So this is what do you want to save? How much money do you want to put aside for savings? How much money do you want to put aside for things like movies or gifts or other things? So have, spend, generate, need, want. I wish that spelled a cool word because I'm really into acronyms, but it doesn't. Have, spend, generate, need, want. Okay. Those are what you want to get those numbers really, really square. Ideally, how much money you have and how much money you generate when you add those together is much more than what you spend, need, and want. Right? Okay, cool. Musicians, we want to make sure that we are set up to be paid. So if you are not a member of a performing rights organization in America, that's ASCAP, BMI, or CSAC, you want to make sure you're signed up there. Sound Exchange, if you distributed any records through CD Baby or TuneCore or wherever, you want to make sure that you opted into the YouTube monetization. Basically what this means is that they send, the same way they send your music to iTunes, is that they send your music to YouTube's catalog, so that if one of your fans makes a cat video that goes viral and they happen to put your song underneath it, if they put an ad in front of that video, you get part of that revenue. That's a good thing. So you want to say yes. If you are a composer or a teacher or any service-based, like an engineer or producer, you want to make sure you have a pricing minimum. So when you're talking about money, you don't have to be wonky. People get wonky when it comes to talking about money. So make sure you know what it is you charge and charge what you're worth. So those with part-time jobs or full-time jobs, where can you ask for a raise? Where can you generate new income right now, right? Like, can you sell gear? Let's see. I don't want to talk about results yet. There are things you can do right now to generate income. You can book a house concert. You can do a lot of different things with minimal effort to generate income. And we do this Hail Mary of money in MX4, and it's always so amazing. People declare a number they want to make in the week and then hit it. It's kind of bananas. So when you know what you want and set out to create it, it happens. That's just how it works. The more clarity you have, the more likely the results going to roll in. So Scott was in MX4. He's a violinist, singer, songwriter. And he said he just had a kid. He's like, I need to make $1,500 this Hail Mary money week. And we were like, okay, go for it, dude. He came back the following week. He's like, I booked $2,000 worth of house concerts, meaning friends were going to pay him because they were going to collect money at the door. And he had booked all of these shows within a week. We were like, oh my God, that's awesome. Okay, so what you can do today is you could sell some gear. You could take stock of what you have and what you need to create real money goals. I strongly advise you do this one. You could ask for a raise using the perfect pitch or increase your prices. Every year on my birthday, which is February 23rd, I increased my teaching prices by a couple dollars, and no one has ever left me because of it. So don't be afraid that people are going to balk. If they like you and you're providing value to them, they're going to be like, okay, of course you go up $5 or $2 or whatever. All right. Structures for success, you guys. This is my favorite one. Structure. What does that mean? We do not utilize everyday tools and concepts. What do I mean by that? Our calendars, accountability, community, and development. So many things. Okay, so what does all this stuff actually mean? I'll tell you. Here's what we're going to do. This is my calendar. I use iCal. If you do not have a calendar, get a calendar. Who are my people with no calendars? Type the word no or no C in the chat box. I want to know who you are, because I'm going to give you some life-changing stuff here. This is a calendar. Notice a couple things. We're going to look at this, stare at it while I cough because my throat's dry. So we're going to talk about the key takeaways. I don't have any to-do lists. When I think of something I need to do, it goes into this light pink category. So prepare stats for my call, record vocals for Paul's song, reach out to Sarah and Sean. I don't create to-do lists. Okay, Andy, so get a calendar. It can be a paper calendar. It can be iCal. It can be Google Calendar. Because what you want to do is put all of your to-dos into the calendar. So here's the thing. When you think of something you have to do and it goes on a list, the list starts to be a source of overwhelm and anxiety and make wrong. Oh my God, I didn't do this yet. I'm so behind. I'm so that's what goes on in our head. When you think of something that you need to do and you schedule it, so 2:00 on Thursday, I need to do this thing. You don't have to worry about that thing until 2:00 Thursday when your calendar says, "Ding, time to go do this thing." And you either do it or you don't. If you have integrity, like impeccable integrity with your calendar, meaning integrity, by the way, my definition of integrity is doing what you say you will do at the time you said you'll do it. So if you have integrity with your calendar and you trust yourself that the past version of you created that event because that past version of you knew that this thing was important to do, you're going to do it. Like, that's it. So you don't even have to worry about whether or not it's going to get done. You just say, okay, Thursday at 2:00 is when I'm going to do this thing. And you don't have to think about it again. It's not on a to-do list, like hanging over your head. So in my calendar, I had a call with an accountability partner once a week. She and I get on the phone and we talk about what we wanted to accomplish during the week, whether or not we did it, if we got stopped, what we were afraid of, whatever the roadblocks were. And then we create what we want to have for the next call. And so I say, okay, I'm going to finish sending out this email series next week. By next week, of course, by our next call, I want to say, yes, of course I did that. I want to celebrate the stuff I did. I don't want to be like, no, I didn't do it again, because that makes for a really boring call. So accountability partner, super great structure, especially when we're so used to working alone. If you're a composer, if you're not collaborating every day and you're working from home, like, it is lonely. And we crave, like, musicians generally are not super introverts. So it's a sort of funny thing that we end up working alone. So having an accountability call with someone that is also up to something, doesn't even need to be a musician, but someone who's generating their own career, it's really powerful. In my calendar, you'll also notice there were some purple blocks. Those purple blocks were courses that I'm taking. Every year I either take a course. Let's see, I took a course at Juilliard for orchestration, filling some musical holes. Last year, I took a really long course in email marketing and got really, really good at the tech behind that. I go to music conferences. I always am in a class of some sort at least once a year. And not only can I write that off on my taxes, and by the way, everything that I offer in terms of resources for musicians, you can write all that off from a tax perspective, which is great. But it's just a way to grow. So sometimes that's career leadership, technology development, etc. You also notice that I have multiple projects. So I have 3 different colors for the 3 different areas of my life, right? It's songwriting and my artist stuff, my fans, composing, clients, and then musician resources. So there's 3 areas that I'm working in, and each one of those has a different colored calendar. So events from each one go in my calendar, and I can see, because they're all different colors, how well balanced my week is, right? Does that make sense? So if I personally get bored really easily, right? That's part of my story. And when I can see a lot of different colors, I know that the week is well balanced. That's really cool. So an element around, so I'm not up with the new tax laws, but I know from last year you can write off things. So I would have to look into that. But education generally is, I've been told, not part of it. I think there's something around gear and purchasing actual things. I have to get up on that to answer your question, Ryan. So the last thing that you want to take a note at my calendar is that each week there's something scheduled around branding, pitching, fan engagement. Like, each of those key areas has a moment in my week for me to take a look at and to do a little work in. You keep these 5 areas elevated, then you are going to keep moving forward and keep growing and keep fine-tuning your message and how you're communicating it. So, calendar, super important. Get one, use it. That's all. All right, so that's my week. There you go, right? Green, by the way, those are my lessons. Oh, I got nice and I moved them over. So actions to take today. Get your calendar current and schedule your to-dos. Create an accountability partner or a team. Schedule 3 to 5 tasks this week that will move your career forward. Like, do things that are going to make a difference. Stop doing the stuff that doesn't make a difference. And you know what that stuff is. And this is another reason why you would want to write it down in a calendar, because you will never write down, I'm going to schedule 8 hours of walking around in town putting up posters, or 2 hours scrolling through Facebook and Instagram. You're just not going to write that down, because you'd be like, no, that's so dumb. I'm not going to do that. But that's what we end up doing when we don't create the structure of a calendar. Schedule when you're going to work on each of these keys. That's it. So which key is key? So which key do you need to close the gap between where you are now and where you want to be? Do I know the person at Netflix who I can pitch to? What kind of question is that? You should use the perfect pitch to pitch that question to me. James. So what key do you need to close the gap between where you are now and where you want to be? Like, do you see how now the missing is a little bit different than what we first thought back in the beginning of the hour? So here's the good news. You know what the keys are and why they're important. You know where you are now, where you want to be. You know what's missing. Here's the good news. So we can close the gap together. There's a lot of different ways we can do that. And I'm going to tell you about one of them right now. And then I'm going to look at your websites. Totally, Andy. I love that you're creating an accountability team. Yeah, you guys can create that. And if you're not on the Facebook group, you guys, people make accountability teams there. It's the In the Key of Success Facebook group. I'll type it in, facebook.com/groups/In the Key of Success. Go there. You can post for accountability partners. Everyone there will have heard of this at some point because the only way to get on there is to be on my mailing list. And I talk about all this stuff there. All right. So quickly, before we get to your websites, I just want to share one resource. And I told you earlier on that I would share this with you. I've been talking about the perfect pitch in MX4. So I'm just going to give you the quick picture of MX4 so you can know what it is all about. And thank you for the people joining that Facebook group. I need to approve that, and I will do that after this webinar. So MX4 stands for the Marketing, Branding, Money-Making, Motivation Masterclass, and it's super simple and super powerful. And I worked on it for 2 years, and it's sponsored by CD Baby and Bandzoogle and Disc Makers, and it works because no one else is talking about how to be a human being and how to get out of your own way, and then how to take on a music career with a vengeance. So the way this works, it's a 6-week online course, and the mission is to ensure that musicians achieve unprecedented results in their careers in 6 weeks and create lasting habits that allow for ongoing success. So this is like not a intro to licensing, but then there's another big course to buy. This is it. Like you're going to get your career out of this course. Okay. So really quickly, here's the format. It's 6 modules. It's 1 per week. They're 2 to 4 10-ish minute videos, sessions on each module. And there's worksheets and there's homework and there's bonus live coaching videos. There's interviews with music business experts. There's all sorts of good stuff. There's lifetime access to all the materials and updates. So once you're in, you're in. If you are an MX4 person, like you are in my tribe. And there's also an option for live coaching with me. So getting real results is not just inspiration. So people have taken it, said that the top benefits they get, and I've done all this research and polled everyone, first one is increased income in a short amount of time, a new community of motivated musicians and a place to network, confidence in their brand, how to talk about it and their music and how to pitch it, and an easy to implement social media strategy. Strategies can be easy. It doesn't have to be this big business plan, and a plan for their whole career and clear actions to take. Of course, there's insights and tips on the current music industry. So answer questions. And if I get a question like, what are the tax laws right now? Like I go off and do tons of research and come back with like real answers. So it's, keeping current. So each week there's a lot of different stuff. So I'll just go very quickly through these. It's basically what we talked about today. We're going to get really clear on the goals that you want. You guys will get this in a handout too. So I'm just going to buzz through it so I can get to your websites. Oh, Lou's here. You did MX4. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Week 2 is branding. You figure out your default way of acting, and then you replace it with something that's really empowering. Our default way of acting is usually not empowering us. It's keeping us small. We figure that out. We actually do some personal work to figure that out. Wouldn't that be great? Get that out of the way. Week 3 is all about pitching. We pitch and you make requests every single day. You make unreasonable requests. You start pitching Netflix. You pitch whoever you want, and you get really, really, really supported in your pitches. We go over them. It's great. Fan engagement. You define your ideal fan so that you're not reaching out to nobody, right? Week 5 is finances. So we're shifting the money mindset. You create a money management system. That's super fun. You make sure you're set up to be paid. We do a Hail Mary of money, and you make money this week. This is the week you make money. And lastly, we do structure. So you actually create a team. You have a bunch of awesome conversations with people. You schedule your year. You overcome overwhelm. It's great. So if you are stuck, you're tired, you're waiting, you're bored, you're not getting any new results, or you're unfocused, if you're any one of those things, I created this course for you. I created this course because I was looking for it. Like I would go to conferences, I had all the books and no one had made it. And if there was a course that looked interesting, it was made by some online marketer or some ex-label person who wasn't a musician and did not get it. So this is why I made this course. It has all of the things that I wish I could have gotten. So all these other musicians are saying great things. There's a testimonial thing on the website. Let me actually, I'll just put this here. Hold on. I'm going to remove the Bandzoogle offer and I can actually just put the website up for you. Hold on. So someone said this is the CrossFit of music marketing money-making programs. And I kind of love that because I think CrossFit's cool. There are other courses out there that are $1,000 for online music. You might know what the courses are that I'm talking about. Some of my friends run other courses and it's great, but they're either really specific or they're too broad and they're not talking about you. They're talking about the industry. This is about you and how you are in the music industry, how you're working at the industry. There's, mastermind groups for $10,000 and online marketing for Facebook. And, there's a lot of stuff. So the investment here, I just saw that there's a question about cost. So I'll tell you what it's worth. Some of these mastermind groups in the communities are like $5,000 just to be part of a Facebook page, which is dumb, personally. Access to guest experts, lifetime access. You can do the course over and over and over and over and over again. Private backend website with downloads, all this stuff. There's a money back guarantee. I always forget to tell people about it because of the 100 people that have done it. Not a single person asked for their money back. So it's valued at $9,650, which is a lot. But I know that you're here because you're serious. So that means you're a fit. So right now it's $497. So this is the online version. You get all the material. Oh, and this is going up really soon because my birthday's coming up and I change my prices on my birthday. And it gets you everything. It does not include private coaching with me unless, and here's where you can sign up. And you guys on this page, just play around on this page. It has all the info. There's testimonial videos. Like most of your questions will get answered. There's a payment plan. Like I make it really easy. Like I'm not interested in like making this hard. So, if you sign up today, you also get my Jumpstart strategy. I've talked a little bit about that. That's really specific to the music industry, like fan funding. I'll talk about that in a second. And you get a video coaching call with me. That's normally $207, like more than half the price of the thing. So that's if you sign up today by midnight Eastern Standard Time tonight. Cool. So here's the e-course. This is the bonus if you sign up today. So I talk about fan funding, licensing, and getting fans to shows. So there's a lot of stuff that will get you going there. It's really powerful. I've tweaked it a bunch of times, so it's in its second edition. And then a private video call with me. We can have a glass of wine, get to know each other. We'll dig into your career a little bit and make sure you're getting the most out of the MX4. Cool, right? And this is only for 5 people. First 5 people that sign up because I am not interested in doing this a million times. Great. The promise is that the course is designed to fit into your life, so it's not meant to add stress. And add work. So it's not like taking a physics class and you have to do all your music stuff and your day job and learn physics. It's going to replace the work you're doing it. So the promise is that you'll become unrecognizable to yourself and how you work at your career in 6 weeks. That's the promise. And there's a money back guarantee, like I said. Okay. So that is everything. Oh, what does it cost not to register? Someone told me I should put this slide in. So I've spent over $100,000 on all the stuff I've done. And if I had this course, I would have spent only a fraction of that. And so, instead of taking months, if not years to get your groove, like 6 weeks, people, if you're thinking about getting a new piece of gear or hiring a PR firm for like $4,000 a month, like they'll be good investments, but you're not going to see exact returns, which you will in MX4. Like it's designed to work in your life. So there's immediate payoff. Okay, cool. So if you sign up, you'll get an email with access to the course. It's hosted on a platform called Thinkific. You'll get the bonuses from me. We'll figure out a time to set up our video call. If you don't sign up, but you're thinking about it, you'll get a friendly reminder from me about it. And that's that. All right. So we're only a couple minutes over. So great. You can, Anthony, you can take MX4 anytime. Once in a blue moon, I offer a live version, which is $1,500, which you get online video calls with me for the 6 weeks. And I'm in the middle of one right now, which Paul's in, and I think Lou did one. But the online version is $497, or you can do monthly payments of $197. Okay. If you have any questions, just type them in the chat box. So I'm going to go on so we can start to see your websites. Before we do, here are the actions that I request you guys do today. Align your branding across the websites. We'll talk about that when I start to review people's websites. Start writing emails and asking yes or no question. make a poll post for your social media followers. So get curious. Figure out how much money you need, how much money you want, and how much money you make. And use and trust your calendar as a place for your to-dos. You guys, if you do these things today, you'll be in a new place tomorrow. I promise you, it will open some doors. So my request is that you sign up for MX4. Like that is, will you sign up for MX4? There's the perfect pitch right there, right? Like if you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to get the same results. If you put a wedge, so I am a wedge. I am designed to interrupt the pattern, and you get my full support in that. So like I said in the beginning of this, I relate to you as someone who is already successful, and I give you the tools to get out of your own way and to really apply a lot of this communication and branding and pitching to your music career. So that all being said, I would love to see your website. So I will be kind. Do not worry. I've done this a lot of times. I've sat on panels where I reviewed websites. I was on South by Southwest's Bandzoogel's, what was it called? The website Derby, Demolition Derby, and we ripped apart websites, and I was so nice. So I will do that again here. Ryan, you will get the slides in an email. There will be a follow-up email in a couple hours, and you will get these slides and prime your pitch, and you'll get all this stuff from today's webinar. You don't need to sign up for MX4 to get this. In fact, you don't get this webinar in MX4. Great. So I'm going to click on these websites and just share the screen. I need to switch screens, I think. So stand by. If you want your website to be reviewed, just type it in. I'm going to go in the order that they showed up. So I'm going to start with Alex's. And Alex Winters. This is beautiful. I'm loving that this color is clearly pulled from this red here. So that is a lovely tie-in. And the way you can do that, by the way, there's a website called HTML-color-codes or something. Just Google that. And you can upload a photo and then roll your mouse over the photo and click a pixel and you get a code. So anywhere you go, you can grab that color. So I love this. So just right here, I get this. And then I see the word show. So I don't know that you're a musician yet, right? So that's not really clear, but I see the word shows. So I'm like, okay, it's a scrolling site. Introspective, honest, edgy. Love it. And then I see releases, right? Great. So there's music here. Totally great. So this feels like a blog website, which used to be a thing in like the 2000s, right? So I'm not a big fan of the two columns on a homepage, but it's a little to each his own. I don't know. I feel like you could go either way. This is just so beautiful that whatever. I'm not too worried about it. So here's a bio. Great. Interviews and features. So there's a little press here. Great. That looks great. And I love even guys notice the links are the same color as this. Great. I see two colors. Beautiful. By the way, most websites, when you click on the title of the name of the website, takes you to the homepage. So you don't need the word home in the menu. It actually is just taking up real estate. So there's more for me, the user, to read to actually get to something, right? And most people know that now, that like to get home, click on the name. Boop. There we are. Oh, Alex, thanks so much. You got that link. So I would take away home just to like give a little bit more. So why is your bio first? I would wonder, like, are you just wanting people to get to know you, or do you want people to download your music? Or do you have shows going on right now? So you've got a bunch of shows coming up. So you may want to have the shows first and the bio after the store. The order of your menu is a tell to what you've got going on and what you want people to do. So I would just maybe swap that around. But other than that, I think that this looks fantastic. Was this Bands in Town? This looks like, is this Bands in Town? This is great. I love that this is integrated. It's not a Google. I hate seeing people's Google calendars like embedded in their website. It looks totally off brand. Let's see, contact, great. You know what I love about her site when you go to the homepage? I love that these are not in the color. This is not green Spotify. This is not the Facebook blue. these are actually your, in your colors, the gray, and it's great. Is this Bandzoogle? This is Bandzoogle. Yeah. We don't need to help Spotify with their branding. They're doing just fine. So you want to make sure that you keep people on your website. And I see on a lot of people's websites, like all of the social stuff, like right front and center, but that's going to make people like, I wouldn't even keep them here. People know to scroll to the bottom to get to the stuff, So great. This is gorgeous. I love it, Alex. I can even like sort of hear your music just by looking at this photo. This photo is so on brand. I love it. So, and for the interest of time, I'm going to keep going. Let's see who was, dun, 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 dun. You guys, who's next? I can't find the link. Alex, Brian, I got you here. Let me just copy and put up here. So thanks to Alex for being the first. You're brave. Brian Holt's music. Great. We don't have home. It's great. Music and sound. I get right off the bat. Music and sound and music for media. So get consistent here with your wording. So you have music and sound, and then you have sound and music, and you're using the ampersand versus the and. Sorry, that's not an ampersand. What is that called? Anyway, the word and here. So just teeny tiny little tweaks you could do. This looks very pedestrian, this font. I think you could just choose. Oop, that takes you home. Great. So you don't need the home word. So I think you could do something with the font to make it a little less pedestrian. Even this font is a little more interesting. So I get consistent with that. On CD Baby. I think CD Baby is CD with a space. With the B is capitalized. That will look a little cleaner. You can change this color. I believe you can change this color so that you can have it as your brand color, which would be cool. I don't like seeing that this is a WordPress site theme by theme all. That's very dated looking, so take that out. Composer's a link. That link color you should change to your color, which I'm not sure what your color is, but maybe you upload this photo and pull out one of these nice dark reds or browns or something from the guitar that's really beautiful. And then make that like your link color and, all that jazz. Let's see. What else do we got? Projects. Velvet Green. Production Music Library. Great. You can play all this stuff. So we've got some Bandcamp, and then we've got mixed with CD Baby. That's okay. I would love the colors to get consistent. There's got this green. I mean, if Velvet Green is a thing for you, maybe we pull this green and make that your brand color, in the highlight color, right? Just saying. Your calendar plugin is Bands in Town for show. Yeah, great. And then we got video. Great. It's nice and centered. This looks lovely. Totally clear. These are cool looking things. I want to watch those. So when we go back to, let's go back to the home here. Okay, so the home page is the music and sound page. Got it. So I'm wondering, my guess is that you want to license this music. If that is incorrect, then let me know. If you're still here. If you're not here, then we're going to go to someone else's website. So yeah, I think this is very basic. You've got all this stuff here. I would snazz it up a little bit by getting consistent with the color and the fonts across the board, and just, little details. Capitalize the word on, that sort of thing. Okay, great. Oh, you're here. Oh, awesome. All right. So next, Ryan, are you still here? You have to be here for me to do this, because I'm not going to do this if you're not here, because then I can't get my questions answered. So I'm going to guess what it is you want me to do. Brian, I didn't have a problem reading that middle white text. Not at all. Thanks for asking. Okay, Ryan, this is cool. I like that photo, and I like the black and white with the bursts of yellow. I think that's great. This is new EP available now. Download. Great. Super clear. Like, I know what you want me to do. You know what I'm going to say about the homepage? Yep. Your name takes me back to the homepage. So we don't need that. So basically, I'm not saying to delete the homepage. I'm saying to hide it from the menu, which is usually an option with most. There's so many Ryans. Am I talking to Ryan Zimmerman? So many Ryans. Cool. All right, so, oh, that's cool that your menu stays there. That's fun. That's cool. Cool. So, let's see. Black backgrounds are tricky. Doesn't mean that you shouldn't do them, but your yellow is great. The problem with the font is when you have this kind of font, like it's like New Times Roman versus an Arial, sans serif. Sans serif is way easier to read on black. So because you've got all these extra little things, unless you change all the font to this yellow, which I wouldn't do. So I'd maybe take a look at just flopping the fonts around and see how much easier all this text is, because there's a lot of text, and I get that that's because you've got a blog down here. And then you can keep the black background, which I get is part of the brand. Yeah, let's see. Roots. If you're a roots musician, I wonder if black is on brand for you. But you're bending the style of, are you bending the style or are you blending? I bet you're bending. Punk rock, Americana, breaking the rules. I mean, okay. I like it. I think I like it. I'm just wondering if it's totally on brand, or maybe it would be just like pulling a dark, something from this cover here. I don't know. Okay. That's cool. All right. So what do you want us to download this new EP? That's super clear here. Sign up for the mailing list. That's a great, by the way, if you're not in the middle of a new EP or have a video out or on tour, a great thing for the call to action to be is to have people sign up for your mailing list. Because then when you do have something, they get to be a part of it and you have that person forever. I see your question. Should you keep the blog off the home screen? No, I don't think so. There's a lot. This is great. I love seeing this, like, quote, above the fold, right? It's like old newspaper term. Before you have to open the newspaper, you can see everything. So before I start scrolling, like, I really like this. And the second I start scrolling, it's like, oh, there's so much text and there's 2 columns and there's different things. And oh, these are shows going down and like, this is hard to read. And then there's this download, but there was a download up there. Is that different from this download up here? I don't know. And then, oh, I can listen to it too. Is this all the same thing? But then it's just a lot. So I actually don't mind the blog, because when I get here, I'm like, oh, okay, it's a blog, it's a title, and then it's the body, So to answer your question, no, I don't mind the blog all the way down here on the homepage, but I would maybe center the videos. I get that you're sort of putting it all on the homepage. But if I click on videos, it goes to a totally different page. So I don't think you need videos on the homepage. Contact is usually last. This order is weird, by the way. Home, bio. Like, if you want people to download your music, like, music should be first. Also, where are all the records that they could buy? All of those should be embedded on the music page for sure. Put music first, get rid of home. Then shows, if you're touring. Are you touring? Yes, you are. Music, shows. Videos would probably be next if you're trying to book shows. Photos, I would make videos a media page, put the videos first and the photos on the bottom. Photos are like, okay, people can see photos anywhere now, right? Facebook, anywhere. I don't feel like you need to take up an extra tab. So I'd call this media, put the photos on the bottom, put the videos on top. Press kit, great. Current projects. How is this different than all this stuff? Maybe this should be under the bio or about. Current projects, make it a drop down underneath here, because I'm assuming the music is then the solo stuff. That's a little confusing. And then contact should be last. Yeah, that's what I think. Really great start. So here's the thing, like, just like Alex, just like who did I see before? There's a lot of good content here. This is a really, really good start. It's a lot of tiny little tweaks. Cool. All right. Hope I didn't, you guys, no one's died from me doing this yet. So Gadula, am I saying that right? Are you here? And then James, you're next. I'm going to go laser through these. So you have to tell me if you're here though. So Gadula, and then James, and then Andy, and then Ryan, Roxy, Roca, if we get time with you, and Anthony. Okay. You're welcome, Ryan. Brian, did I forget you already? No, sorry, Brian. I did forget you already. That's what your website did to me. It made me forget you. All right, Gadula. Brian, I'm kidding. So got your website up. Everyone can see Gadula Urban. Great. Very colorful. I feel like I could guess the music, but I'm not sure. You know what I'm going to say about the home page? Oh, wait, actually, your name does not click to the home page. This is probably a dated site. Let's see. What is this made on? This looks like, you know, a GoDaddy site. Just the format looks a little bit dated. The blockiness of the headers and stuff. There are a lot of colors, which may be on brand for you. And I see the hot pink, but I think it could be a lot cleaner. Like, definitely want to pull that really great color. It's a beautiful photo of you. I have green eyes too. Definitely don't want the social media stuff right here. Don't want that. It's taking away from you. The singing cellist from Austria. I love it. I really do. And I like the blue, you know, this color against here. I would just say pick one, because we've got this light blue, then we've got this, and then we've got this purple, and then we've got this hot color here that's not working really well with the background. Some of the stuff is all caps, some of it's, oh, and then you scroll over, then it's gray. So you just got a lot of colors going on, which sort of says, I'm not really sure of my brand, or I didn't take a lot of time to figure this out, which translates to, I didn't take a lot of time on the product that I want to sell you. I know that's not your intention, but that's what it looks like when there's a lot of different fonts and colors and it's sort of all over the place, right? So you just want to get that consistent. It's really simple. I mean, these photos are these are beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I like the purple from your jacket in there. You've got the purple pink brand for sure. And I think we just need to calm it down and make it really easy. Yeah. Wix sites can look a little outdated if not done well. You've got a lot of good content here, and you've got this stuff here, and oh, green. No, and I can't read this. I can't read that. Oh my gosh, that color has to go right now. I'm going to die. I'm dramatic, you guys. So many beautiful things here just on the homepage. And I just want it to be so much more streamlined and so much cleaner with the colors and the fonts. I don't love the shadow on this. I don't think this font is very like modern looking. Yeah, I like that, Anthony. I would love that cello, one of these at the top instead. So you really see, when you have a photo that says, here's what I do. I'm playing the cello while I sing. You don't need to say the singing cellist from Austria. I mean, you don't get the Austria part of it, but someone would be like, ooh, I want to know more. I'm going to go to this about page. Cool. You have 3 L's in the word cello here. So just make sure you go through. And again, that's just something that says, I didn't spend a lot of time here. I didn't even proofread the first sentence of my bio. And that sends a message, right? So we want to be really clear on what are the messages we want to send. I don't think you need, unless these are links, we don't need quite so much bold. Only the key things in bold. It's a little too hard to read at a glance right now. Let's see what else. I like that folder too. And I think you can sort of, play around. These are things in other languages. We've got a new color here. So yeah, I think there's a lot of stuff that you could streamline. You've got beautiful, beautiful folder. This is great. I love this page. I like how it flows. I like how it's very focused. The homepage felt a little all over the place. So yeah, I'm also not sure what you want me to do. You may want me to just get to know you, in which case I would love for you to have an email list. If you haven't gotten one to sign up, you can sign up. If you use Bandzoogle for your web page, eventually you can they have an email platform. I also recommend MailChimp. So you can't change that green anymore. It may be time for a new website. Just copy and paste all this great content and take an hour and set it up on a Bandzoogle site. Sorry, darling. Because that green is not on brand for you. The purples and the pinks totally are. They're great. So media, music, live. Yeah. And, what is it that you want me to do when I land on this homepage? Do you just want me to explore? Some websites are like that. That's okay. Like, here's the stuff. Like, here are all these projects. Just listen and read. And there's a little too much going on here. If you have a photo media page, I don't think you need to put the photos necessarily. just a lot to take in, especially with all the colors. So I'm sort of like, I'm a little like, overwhelmed. I don't know what to do. So you want to just reduce that. And you can reduce that. The first thing is by changing some colors, getting some of the fonts consistent, picking 2 colors to be your headline, so what we call it is like the highlight and the support, or the foundation. So like this would be a highlighted color, and then this would be the foundation color, like the behind it, and these could be the highlighted. And then when you scroll over, it would be the foundation color. I get into the nitty gritties of the branding stuff in MX4, but that's what I would say to you. So thanks for sharing this. Again, this is just like all the other sites. You've got really good foundation. You've got a good start. And these are just, it sounds like big, massive changes, but it is, it's just sort of shifting things around a little bit. So thank you very much. All right, next one. You guys are so great. I'm going to try to do all of these. James, I said we were going to go really fast with Gudula. I hope I'm saying that right. So bristolkidsband.com. James, are you here? And then it's Andy. Get wireless dreams on Apple Music. Cool. Bristol Kids Band. I'm not sure why we have this twice. It's kind of like pick a brand. Cool. Great. I think one of these, that's the one that will take you back to the home page, that top left one there. So maybe you can get rid of this and give more space to a photo. You've got some funky line here. I saw it on another person's website the other day, actually, which is funny. But we can get rid of the word home, and we can put, what do you want first? Is you just want people to get to know you? It seems like you want people to buy this song. I don't know if that's the name of maybe we put quotes around it or something. So we know Wireless Dreams, is that what is it, BKB? It takes you to Apple. Okay, cool. So I love a good embedded, you can embed the code so that people can stay on your website and buy it there. Okay. That's my favorite way, so that we don't have to leave your website, because you've got people here, right? And you want them to get to know you and read all the stuff. So don't send them away to another link. And if you do, absolutely make sure that it opens a new window, so that, see, now it goes to Apple, and then I click on something, and then I see something else, and then I have to click back a million times to get back to you. Hold on. Nope, that's Gudula. Go forward. Bristol Kids Band. Here we go. This photo looks like a selfie. So it doesn't tell me that you're in a band. It tells me you're on vacation. And that's cool, but I don't get the world of your brand yet. I haven't gotten it yet. I do get that you have this sort of blue purple color, and then you have this orange color, and I see that that's consistent, which is great. And I'm guessing that that's because of Bandzoogle. And make sure your sections are consistent. So you have a section with a little cream background, and then you have a section with a white background, section with a cream background, section with a cream background. So make sure they alternate. If you start it alternating, then start it alternating. You have no latest news, so you probably want to delete this section, because this is still the temporary stuff, right? And then we've got your blue down here. Cool. Which turns green. Look at that. We have a new color here. So I would maybe go in and get that to switch to orange, or I don't know. Yeah. Okay, great. So now let's go. We go to see it. Bio. Great. Another selfie. I would maybe get some band pictures or pro pictures, unless that's the brand. Latest music. Great. I would swap these. So put the quote on the left and make the big thing the music, so that they can share, buy, listen to it, all that stuff. So that that is what's focused on. People are going to read the thing anyway. You got some videos. Great. So it is a vacation video. I'm sort of confused. Maybe that's the brand. I don't know. Yeah, okay. So you had trouble with the Bandzoogle template. So some of the templates are more confusing than others. So the cool thing about Bandzoogle is that if you're not digging a template and you put in all this material already. If you want to switch it, you can switch it and it's not going to delete all your stuff. Like Wix, if you want a new look or new template, you have to start from scratch. So if you just want to see if something else might fit easier, you can totally do that. And by the way, Bandzoogle, I'm actually logged into Bandzoogle. I'm going to show you something really quick. When you get into editing your website, this is my website. You have two things to look at: edit content, edit theme. That's all you need to look at. The theme is how it looks. The content is what it says. So when you click edit theme, usually you're not going to screw with this a lot, because once you set your colors, those are going to be your brand colors. So when you edit theme or edit content, what happens is that a new menu pops up to the left here. And that's where you're going to handle all of your stuff. So this is my homepage. It's loading. So this is where you change the colors, these little circles. These are my brand colors. The dark blue was pulled from a record cover. And then this green has just been my color forever. It's on a lot of my products, a lot of everything. And then I have a little hot pink in some of my courses. So yeah, so you'll see all this consistent stuff. You can change all of that, right? Cool. All right, cool. James, your brand is about the beach. Great. There are a lot of different ways to do that. Right now, it looks a little pedestrian. So I would bring in the music more in terms of the photos and like maybe do a photo shoot on the beach with an instrument or something like that, just to sort of get that to really, I mean, it's great that it's the brand is the beach. But I think there are other ways that you could get that across. But again, you've got this stuff going there. I like the white space in the back. It's clean. So great. All right. Andy, are you still here? And then Ryan too. And then Anthony. 3 more. Okay, great. All right, here we go. This is all in another language. This is your guitar teacher author website. Great. Okay, cool. So since I can't read this, I'm just going to tell you what I think how it looks. That picture is amazing. So put that up here. Swap those pictures. This one is weird. This one is awesome. Swap them. Great. That's what I got for you. It's because I can't read any of this. I like partner references. I think that's great. I can see learning. That means something. So I get that you're a teacher here. So, Anthony, that's a great question. Should you split websites for multiple projects or keep them within the same website? All right. So I used to split everything I did, and it got really tiring, and it became a whole nother job just to actually manage the websites. So I suggest, no, you are the common denominator, and you need to have your own brand. So you'll notice if you're on my email list as a fan of mine and you're on my email list as a musician, my voice is the same. I'm super authentic. Sometimes I have things to sell for both people, right? CDs if you're a fan, or tour tickets or whatever, and the courses I've created or webinars or something. And I'm all about like being light and authentic and an open book. And so there's a brand in the way I talk to these two very different audiences. My fans are not musicians. Some of them are, but most of them are not, right? They've come to shows. They saw me at a house concert. So that's important. And I think you can bring that to your website. So the way I managed to do this on my website, and I struggled with this for a long time, so I appreciate this question. And goodness, you guys, this is going so long, and I thank you for sticking with me here. So singer-songwriter, I told you there are 3 things I do: singer-songwriter, composer, music career resources. Those are the three things that I do and provide. I recently added a choral tab, and that's for a different reason. But the thing is, when you click music career resources, it takes you to that branch of my company, which is called In the Key of Success. So I do have 2 websites, but you can find both of them from each other. So on the Key of Success, when you scroll through, you can find me. You click on this picture, it goes back to my website. Also notice that this blue is the exact to the actual 6-digit color as this blue. So you get this. Why are my covers not? Interesting. Why are they not showing up? Weird. Anyway, so, I just clicked on something. So when you click on any of these things, you get taken to, see, it looks and feels the same. So if they are very, very different and you have very different audiences, I would say, yes, have 2 sites. Make sure you can find either one of them from the other one. and have them open in different windows. See this? So you don't have to dance around trying to find this. Why are my little things not showing up? My album covers. Interesting. And if you have several bands or different projects, I would have them on one page. So there's my jingle. Here are my reels as a composer, and you sort of get the world of it, right? Okay, cool. To offer your teaching books, etc., on your band website. Yeah, I mean, that's a great thing to put in your bio section, right? So why not? As long as you can find, like I said, if you can find one on one and find the other on the other, that's the whole point, right? Okay, cool. I gotta go way fast now. Roxy Roca. Here we go. Are you here, Roxy Roca, Ryan? Oh, this is cool. Upcoming shows. I got it. Okay, you want me to come to your show. You're on tour. Look at this. We're going from Colorado. We're going on tour. Great. There's some different fonts going on. I don't love the yellow on the pinks. It's a little hard on the eyes. I love the hot pink with the purple though. So yeah, let's get consistent with some fonts like this stuff fonts with this font, Those are all a little different. That annoys me. And it like takes away from the fact that this looks super pro. That's really cool. Great graphic. I can't listen to your music anywhere, can I? So like, why would I come to a show if I can't hear your music? So I would love to have it, even if it's a tiny little link somewhere. No, I would like a bigger link actually. Do I have to click on the EPK? Most people not in the music industry don't know what an EPK is. This is cool. Why don't we get to see this? Tint this. You could tint this photo, this black and white photo, with that hot pink color, so that it can be on brand, and then it doesn't feel like this is this looks like a totally different band, and this is not what I would have expected the band to look like based on that website. So that's interesting. So this EPK is not the same experience. Oh, it's on the same page. Is a totally different experience than here. So there are two brands. I'm looking at two brands. Cool. Link at bottom. And I still don't see a link. Email address. I mean, that was the link, the Roxy, the EPK. Is this a video? Oh, it is a video. I get it. Okay. Cool. All right. I mean, both sites are cool. They're just two different brands. Again, like the thing with the voice, like who I am at an industry meeting, and is the reason why I've got the support of like bigger companies and got licenses and things like that is because of the consistency. Or I think that contributes to it at least. So who you are for industry people, they're going to want to see who you are for your fans. So yeah, pick a brand. They're both awesome. So cool. Just pick one. And nice job. I'm kind of excited to go listen to all this stuff, you guys. All right. I think there was one more. Oh, where was it? So many questions. Was it Anthony? Cubbage based music. Guys, I'm like whipping through these. I appreciate that you guys all hung around. Cubbage. I mean, that's cool. I just can't read it, but I like it, but I can't read it. So I feel many things. I like this down here, these tiny little guys. I'm guessing if I click on this, I don't need the home, so you can get rid of that. I don't know what you want me to do. Do you want me to just click around and get to know you? Great. Then the bio is first. Oh, see, that looks better on the darker background. Maybe you can figure out how to do that. Look at you carrying your keyboard. Great. Philly. Great. I went to Cornell, and nice. I loved Ithaca so much. Great. All right. So yeah, I'm not sure what you want. This looks like a website of someone who doesn't know what they want, which is fine. You can get rid of, I hope you can get rid of Power by Squarespace. Don't like that. This looks hard. How do I play it? Just right here is the only button. Okay, I get it. Cool. Tour? Are you on tour? No upcoming tour dates. Wait, there are upcoming tour. Oh, you're playing at Millennium Music Conference. Oh, I usually go there. I'll miss you this year. Cool. This is great. You've got a lot of stuff showing up. So maybe tours first. Just wondering. I don't know. Contact compositions. What does compositions mean? Are you also a composer? Great, you are. Okay, cool. Maybe put this first, this little blip up here, and make it the same size as the other fonts and stuff on the page. But yeah, I mean, basically, I like this. I do. But I'm not sure what you want me to do. What's important to you right now? You know? Yeah, Spotify follows are hard and they're hard to rebrand. So you got to like put your own image and make it your own color. So it's not this ugly bright green thing popping up on your like nice dark black and yellow site, you know? So, all right, you guys, thank you so much for sharing. I hope that was helpful. That was the longest one I think I've ever done. You guys were really great and engaging, and thank you for being here. You'll get a link to the replay. You'll get a link to the other stuff. Go sign up for MX4 because it's going to be worth it. And if not, you can get your money back because I'm not interested in haggling with musicians. Been there, done that. So that's all I got to say today. Does Bandzoogle have that? Yeah. Oh, you just embed stuff left and right, whatever you want to do. So yeah, if you have any other questions, go to that Facebook group. I will go accept all of the people that just asked to join. I'm fairly active there and post some free stuff. And also, if you're on my mailing list, you generally will get something like once a week or so from me and tips and, you know, other things. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday. And thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. All right. How to get out of here? Wait, I'll come back. I'll come say bye. Because you haven't seen my face in a while. Thanks, everybody. Bye.